Hello everyone! So it's been a while since I've sat down and actually made a video instead of doing just hella live streams for the past few months. But SanaaStoria tagged me in the K-pop albums that define you tag. So she made her own tag recently and it's such a fun idea. So I was really excited to do it. So here I am, and these are the K-pop albums that define me. So I'm kind of going to go through my journey as a K-pop fan from where I started to when I really got into it and started defining bias groups, and then kind of where I'm headed as a K-pop fan. So I'll kind of start with my beginnings, and one of the first groups I ever got into, I got into K-pop late 2013, early 2014-ish. It's kind of when I really started to get into it. One of the first groups I got into was Girls' Day, specifically with their Something song. And the reason I pulled up the Ring My Bell album is because this is kind of like a compilation album. Not only is Ring My Bell one of my favorite songs by them, I honestly love it. It also has Something, Darling, and I Miss You, which are their 3 title tracks from 2014. And I love those songs so much. And I also love Ring My Bell. And I really like a couple of the B-sides on here too. So this album, is one of, my all-time favorite, nostalgia albums for K-pop because it just has some of my favorite songs of all time. And this is the first K-pop album I ever bought. Ever. This is it. This specific edition, which is why it looks a little beat up. And before I really knew, what K-pop album collecting was, I bought it, and then so the photo card came out, and I didn't know what it was, so I just kind of jammed it in my wallet, and it got all crinkled because I didn't know what to do with it. And then I wanted to flip through the photo book like this, so the little paper CD container that was in the back, I literally just ripped it out, just like an animal. I just yanked it out, and I set it aside, and I was like, I'll deal with that later. I just want to look at the pictures, which was dumb, so I ended up actually buying the group version of this as well. So I have the group version as well. And I'm tempted to buy the Mina version because she is my bias. And when I was buying these, it was at a K-pop store in Chicago. It was the first time I'd ever been to a K-pop store. I didn't even know there was one in Chicago. And they had all the covers, and I was like, I don't know which one to get because Mina is my favorite member. And this is before I even knew what a bias was. I knew I liked her a lot. But I was like, I don't like her cover. It's kind of ugly. But then I liked this one. So I was like, I guess I'll go with this one. I didn't realize it would be member photo books, so kind of tempted to get Mina's because she is my bias, and I love her a lot. But yes, this is one of my first K-pop groups I ever got into. Expectation, which is not on this album, was one of my first K-pop songs, but then I remember when Something came out and it being a phenomenon. So, and then Darling was my summer jam, and then I Miss You, also great, love that ballad. Next I'm going to talk about Gain's Step 2 of 4. This is her debut mini album. It has very weird packaging, and it took me a while to get this, but the title track on here, Irreversible, is one of my favorite K-pop songs, and one of the very first ones I listened to and got attached to. I think the reason I got attached to it is because I loved the music video, and I don't like very long drama music videos in K-pop. I can go into that a different day, but I normally don't, but I, for some reason, loved it. I loved the song, I loved the dance, I loved her makeup, I loved her acting. That blue makeup she has towards the end is on fleek. It's so gorgeous. So yeah, this is definitely one of the most nostalgic K-pop albums for me. Distinctly because of the 2 songs that are in the music video. The title track, and I think, I don't even know which one it is on here, but there's a softer ballad on here, which is also in the music video. But if you haven't listened to this album and you haven't watched the music video, you're missing out. It's a lot of fun. I really, really like it, especially if you like K-dramas. You'd probably like this music video. And the dance is great. The next group I was introduced to was T-ara. This had like just come out when I was getting into them. This came out in 2013, I think. I think so. So this was like their most recent comeback at the time, and I loved You Know Me. I thought that the styling was incredible. I thought they were so cute, so pretty. I loved all of their outfits. Especially, and I still do like Hyunmin's outfit with her like pink fuzzy top with like the headband tied in like bunny ears. It's so cute. So this album also contains Number 9, which those were the two first T-ara songs I ever listened to, which were Do You Know Me? Almost dropped a different album. Which were Do You Know Me? Which is the title track for the repackage, and Number 9, which was the title track for the original. And then there's also Nukini Anika, which is like a ballad track, which also has a music video. Oh my god, I love all three of these songs. This is one of my favorite T-ara releases ever. It's amazing. I think this is one of the first T-ara albums I bought too. I just wish it was not postcards, because if not, this would be like my favorite photo book of all time. But I don't like that it's postcards. But I love the styling. The styling, like, I feel like, not only was the song really cute and catchy, but the styling was like, that got me. Okay, so the next album, so all of these were introduced to me by friends, those last three albums. This one I kind of found on my own, and it was 21's Crush. So the same day my friend had showed me T-ara's album, because basically how I got into K-pop was, I was at my friend's house, she showed me a bunch of music videos, including Girls' Day, After School, some SHINee, and Gain's Irreversible. Like, a few days later, I was hanging out with her again, and she showed me T-ara and then CL's Baddest Female. And I thought CL and the Baddest Female was the dopest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. And when I went home, I looked her up. And this had just come out. And it was poppin'. So I kinda got into 21 right after this album came out. And I, like, lived through this era with them. Like, I watched the live shows. It's the first group where I, like, listened to the full album. The full album. Because before, with any of these albums, like, I didn't start listening to full albums start to finish until late 2015. Like, too long into my K-pop game for me to start actually listening to full-length albums besides titles. And that's actually why a lot of my bias lists switch around, because, like, Girls' Day, I love them and I love their titles, but I don't particularly care for their B-sides. That's why Girls' Day went from being, like, my third favorite group to, you know, 8th. Still top 10, still love them, still wish they had a comeback, but, you know, once I started listening to full-length, like, the actual albums, that's when my opinions on K-pop actually started to change. This was the first one I listened to all the way through. I loved all the live stages. This blew my mind. It is still the most played album I've ever listened to. I fucking love this album. It's my favorite album of all time. I love this album. It's my favorite song of all time, which is Come Back Home. I love Come Back Home. I remember when the Crush Japanese music video came out. I remember when the Gotta Be You music video came out. And then Bomb had her scandal. And it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. Becoming a 21 fan, and then living through the Crush era, and then all that jazz. The next artist is Hyuna. So Hyuna and I did not totally get off to the right foot. I liked Bubble Pop. I hated Red. I hated Red. When this came out, I thought it was horrible. And then a few months later, I was like, fuck. Because I discovered the B-sides, French Kiss and Blacklist. I think I was just, like, clicking on YouTube, and, like, the live performance of Blacklist came up. I loved it, thought it was great. And then, for some reason, just the title track, Red, grew on me. That grew on me, and now I love it. And it was one of my first, it was like the first K-pop album, first Hyuna album I ever really loved, and she's one of my ultimate biases in K-pop, so I definitely had to put this on here. And the last album for like the back in time thing for K-pop is my very first Sistar song, Give It To Me. And this is actually still my favorite Sistar album. I didn't actually listen to this full album until like late 2015, but bitch, I don't know how, but for some reason when I got into like the K-pop verse, after like my first few groups like I just showed you, I started just clicking around on whatever videos recommended to me, and I think Give It To Me was recommended to me. I loved Give It To Me. Oh my god, I loved Give It To Me. And then I remember when Touch My Body came out, being like, this is a bop. And then I hated I Swear when it came out. Hated it. It wasn't actually until Shake It, until like after Shake It had come out, and I started collecting K-pop that I took another gander at I Swear, and I was like, oh, I Swear is actually pretty amazing. But yeah, Sistar, Give It To Me, one of the first K-pop albums I ever bought, because I thought it was amazing, and I needed to have it. Because, honestly, this album has no skips. Yeah. No, none. It's so good. And then next I'm going to get into kind of like, as I was really getting into K-pop, I would say the next group I really also got into was EXID, because in, 2015 they kind of had their breakthrough, and with the Ah Yeah album, and which Up and Down is included on, and this is another one of like probably in the first batch of K-pop albums I bought. Honestly, the first K-pop albums I bought through Amazon. So I honestly, it'd be interesting, but I could, because I still use the same account, I could actually go back and like look up the first like 10 K-pop albums I bought. I might make a video on that. That would be interesting. See if I even still have them. But yeah, this is one of the first ones, and I love this album. The reason I put this one on here instead of a different EXID album is because it has Up and Down, Ah Yeah, and Every Night, and those are three of my favorite EXID songs. And it has one of my favorite B-sides by them, which is Thrilling, one of the best B-sides by EXID. And 2015 was like an amazing year for me and EXID. I discovered Up and Down, the Ah Yeah mini album, and then they did Hot Pink, and I was sold, gone by. They had been biased, and by 2016 they had been ultimate biased. So around this time it also started getting into other groups, which I'll talk about a little later. But another album that came out around this time was the Wonder Girls reboot. I hated this album when it came out, because I just did not like the title track. I did not like it, and I heard people talking about it all the time. They were like, the Wonder Girls are back, check out I Feel You, they're a band now, and I was like, I am not feeling this, pun intended, don't like it. And then I think I was just like clicking around, and I clicked on Be My Baby, and then I really liked that song by them, so I took another gander at this, read some album reviews, and was like, let me listen to it. Bitch, it's so good. It's so good. So I decided to put this one on. It's my all number signed copy. It's beautiful. Look at them. It's signed. And it's probably still one of my favorite like album like photo book concepts. Just like this 80s magazine concept, I think is so interesting. Oh my god, I just love looking through this photo book. Like, look at that. That's so cool. That's such a cool like design. I really like it, and I really love this track list. My favorite songs are Baby Don't Play, Candle. It's honestly better to tell you what songs I don't like, because I love most of them. I think the only song I don't like are Back and Gone. I don't really like Gone. I don't like Back either. But everything else I really like. One Black Night and John Doe. So good. So good. And yeah, after I discovered this, Wonder Girls had really become one of my favorite girl groups. And I think this is a really diverse album. Like, if I, like, even out of every album that I would show to you, I feel like if I showed this to someone, this would probably be the most memorable one. Because it just sticks out in a really, really good way. Next group that I got into was Girls' Generation. So I of course knew about Girls' Generation when I first got into K-pop. I remember when Mr. Mister came out, and I liked that song. I didn't really like their other stuff that much. And then I remember when Party came out, and I was like, fuck this song. This is girly and dumb as shit. I'm gonna listen to Girls' Days, Ring My Bell. So that was my summer song for that summer. And then Lionheart came out, and I was like, fuck this song. It is creepy. It is weird. What is a Lionheart? I don't get it. So I didn't like that song. And I ignored it. And just, somehow, I just kept kind of occasionally going back to Lionheart. And eventually, I kind of grew to like it to become a guilty pleasure song. And then I just grew to love it. And then I listened to the rest of their discography, and I was like, oh my god, they're my favorite. And I love them. And they actually almost became my favorite K-pop group. They almost topped 21. Almost. They never did. They're still my second biased group. But I quickly ended up biasing Girls' Generation. And then I listened to this album, and I was blown away, and I thought it was amazing. And I watched all their variety. And I feel like that's the kicker with Girls' Generation is, not only do they have great music, but they are so funny. They're honestly so good at variety. Like, oh god, you can watch any Girls' Generation variety and just enjoy it. So, yeah, really, really enjoyed this album. I have both versions. This is just the version that I picked out from my shelf quickly. Oh god, I remember hating Lionheart. Now I really like it. I still don't know what a Lionheart is. I don't get it. I don't get the analogy. Can someone explain? Honestly, I don't. What does it mean? What does that song mean? I don't know. I don't know what it is. And lastly, for the kind of bias group discoveries, kind of like the midpoint so far of my K-pop journey, is SHINee. SHINee is really, truly the only boy group that I truly love. There's a couple other ones that I also really, really like. I really, really like B2B, but my favorite boy group is SHINee. And I kind of ignored them for a while, but I think it was View. Like about a year after View came out, I took another listen to it, and I could not stop listening to it. And then I bought View and Married to the Music. But my first comeback with SHINee was One of One. And to this day, this is still my favorite SHINee album, hands down. It's my least favorite title track they've ever done, but Prism, Feel Good, Lipstick, Shift. Enough said. Also, the repack, Tell Me What to Do, is my favorite SHINee title track. Just saying. But yeah, this was kind of like I had liked other guy groups. Like, I liked Big Bang enough. I liked G-Dragon, you know. But I was really into the girl groups. But this was like the first guy group where I was like, I like this, and I like this a lot. And I have most of their discography. So I guess now I'll get into K-pop albums that kind of explain where my K-pop journey is headed. So most of these are newer girl groups because a lot of the groups I've just showed you are disbanded or inactive, which is unfortunate. So let's get into it. Red Velvet's the perfect Red Velvet. I think perfectly shows where musically I'm headed and what I like. Because I love Red Velvet. They're my favorite girl group of this generation so far. I fucking love everything they've done. And this was it. This is the icing on the cake because I really liked the Red, and I liked everything up until then. But I felt like SM hadn't quite figured out what they were doing with the Velvet side. But when this album came out, it really felt like Red Velvet had become complete. And SM was like, this is it. They put a stamp on the Velvet, and they were like, this is what we're doing. And I loved it. I think it came at a good time because I've really started to get into a little bit more ballads and R&B and hip-hop music, which I'll get into a little later. So, yeah, this came at a perfect time. I think Bad Boy is still maybe my favorite Red Velvet song. I fucking love that song. And I cannot wait to see what they do next. And yes, Summer Magic is out. I'm obsessed with it. But SM also confirmed they're gonna come back in like November. So a bitch is anticipating the Red Velvet mini album of November because I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm excited because I love Red Velvet and I already have Summer Magic pre-ordered. The next group is a group I have many issues with in some ways, with the company, and you should probably guess what girl group this is, but I can't deny how much I love their music, and it's Blackpink, and this is their Square Up mini album. I do full-heartedly believe their first 5 songs were 21 songs, and that 21 had recorded demos for them. Fully believe that you will not be changing my mind about that, but this really feels like they started something new, and I honestly really, really like this album. Do Do. I love that song. It's so good. I can't stop listening to Do Do and Forever Young, but I love this whole album. It's really, really good, and I can see myself just really, really loving Blackpink as they get more music. If they get more music, we'll see. We'll see with YG. But yes, I love this, and yeah, I guess they are kind of picking up the mantle of what 21 left off, but oh well. For my second to last album, only 2 more left, ooh, this is a long video, is Mamamoo's Yellow Flower. Mamamoo and I have a troubled past, but we've gotten better. I've loved their last few releases, and I like their newest one, Red Moon. I just haven't bought it yet, but this is one of my favorite albums of the year, easily. I actually like it more than Red Moon. Starry Night, I did not like this album at all at first, but when I got into this album, it kind of reopened my love for Mamamoo, because songs like Rude Boy and the Hwasa solo really get me, and then Starry Night is probably one of my favorite songs of the year so far. I love Starry Night. Oh god, I'm honestly like thinking about this album just makes me want to go into my car and listen to it again and again and again. I love this. I love Red Moon. I can't wait to see what they're going to do for their fall and winter releases. If it's anything like the first 2 parts of the series, expect me to be buying them, because I think that they're really, really wonderful. And I think I'm going to go back and get some of their older stuff. I have their Purple album and their Decalcomani album. But I don't know if I'm going to get anything before then. I might get the Piano Man album. Yeah, maybe Piano Man. But I love this album. Can't wait to see what Mamamoo does next. And then speaking of me getting into more R&B and hip-hop, I do have to talk about my favorite artist of that genre. Without a doubt, I can't find her first full-length album right now. Her first mini album right now. But that one is what I would pick. And it's Heize. All of Heize, everything Heize does, sign me up. I love her. I followed her. I remember watching her on Unpretty Rap Star and loving her, and then she kind of just disappeared after it ended, and then all of a sudden, boom, there she was, topping charts, and I was like, bitch, the fuck. Her Angelai album is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. It's truly a masterpiece. And this one's also really good. With Don't You Know being one of my favorite Heize songs. And it has a water-resistant pouch, which is, like, such a cool album thing. But yes, I love Heize, and I've been really getting into more R&B, like Dean. Sumin just released an album. I really love Sumin. Hoodie. DPR Live. Oh, I don't own any DPR Live, but I need to own DPR Live. My K-pop, my R&B collection is sorely lacking right now, and it makes me sad. But if I were to give someone albums that define me as a K-pop fan, I think these would be it. Of course, I could put a couple more. I could throw Dean's album on. I could throw an AOA album in here. But I think these truly define me and my taste and just really what I like. Maybe it doesn't have the most range, but this is what I like. And that's what the tag's about. It's about what you like as a K-pop fan. And everyone's gonna have different opinions. Like, nothing Sana put in her video, I would put in my video. No, doesn't mean I disagree with her, but we have different K-pop opinions, you know? It's whatevs. So, I keep looking at the wrong camera. The camera's right there. So I'm very excited to see all of my other friends do this. I really, really loved Sana's video. I thought it was super interesting to hear her answers. I just can't wait to see everyone's video on this, and I hope you guys enjoyed mine. So thank you, Sana, for tagging me, and thank you so much for creating this video. It's a really wonderful idea, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!